Coach, you said that in Game 2, one of the bright spots, I mean, maybe the only bright spot of Game 2 was MPJ got to see some buckets go in the second half.
Yeah. I'm
curious if you could talk about, do you think that did carry over, and if you could talk about his Game 2?
I think anybody that's played sports knows it does. I said the same thing when CB made a couple shots late. Game 6 against the Clippers, and there was just a different confidence in Game 7. You see the ball go in, and especially when the ball doesn't find you every game consistently, you can go through periods, dry spells. So really good to see, Mike make some big shots, and, the way they're guarding, and that's why they're, one of the best defensive teams in the league. It's one of the best I've ever seen. They're taking away the paint, and so we've got to be able to knock down open shots. And when Michael is making shots, it obviously makes the court that much bigger, or at least feel that much bigger. So really proud of him. Guy's getting treatment every day. He's just trying to, stay alive in this thing. So it's really cool. Cool for Michael and, just for everybody in there. That was just a really mentally tough win.
David, pregame Game 2, I think you said the first 18 minutes against this team, you take a lot of punches.
Yeah.
Looking at the 3 games so far, it seems like in 2 of them you kind of weathered that, stay connected, 1 late. 1 of them you didn't. So am I onto something here with it's kind of about surviving that stretch and winning a rock fight?
Yeah, not getting down 60. It's always tough to make a run when you're down 60. No, you're right. We just have to stay in it. And, he does a great job, Mark does, of bringing different lineups in that first. That's why I really mean it. The first 18 minutes, you see so many different combinations. And he's, I know he's looking for something to find a rhythm or how he's going to rotate the second half. He does a great job of it. And so I just think the longer you can stay in the game, then they got to make decisions earlier in the second half of where they're going, how they're going to do it. And then you give yourself an opportunity where, their guys are playing big minutes just like we are. So it's, it's hard. It's really hard. It's easy to say, just stay in it, man. It's like, no, they're coming 100 miles an hour. They have a great basketball team, well coached. So just feel good to, find a way to win.
David, Jokic has an off night. You guys get crushed on the offensive glass. You lose the turnover battle, but you still manage to get that win.
Yeah.
What did you see from them despite all of that?
Defensive energy. We finally kind of shored up the defensive rebound. They shot 19 more shots than us. That can't happen, on a normal night. And Nicola's off night, 2016 and 6. Just an awful NBA night. And I actually thought the shots he got, and I always, the stat sheet always says something, but sometimes it says nothing at the same time. The guy shoots 45% from 3. He had an off night. If we would have lost this game, I'd have walked in here and you just said, why is he shooting so many threes? I said, because he shoots 45% from 3. So he's going to shoot threes. The paint is packed. We shot 40 threes. We have to take what they give us and avoid the turnovers. And it's crazy to say this, but 16 for 20 is not bad compared to Game 2. We took care of it better, especially early in the game, talking about taking knockout punches, only 1 turnover in the first quarter. That's going to get you in a good start. We didn't make shots early, but we got shots to the rim, and that's important.
David, he looked frustrated with himself a few times, especially after that last shot in regulation.
Right.
Guys in there talk all the time about how he kind of picks them up, how there's kind of an obligation of being able to play for Nikola in a way. What's kind of the mood on the bench, and what does it mean for this team to see other guys kind of step up for him on a night like that when he is so frustrated with himself?
Right. I think he picks people up, but I think our whole team picks each other up, throughout all these games. And the bottom line is that guy just keeps shooting the ball. And the ball is coming to him, regardless of the results or the efficiency that night. And I'm sure he was frustrated. When you're that efficient, maybe arguably one of the most efficient players to ever play any sport, I get it. I get why he's frustrated. But Game 4 is going to come, and he's going to touch it a million times. Hope he shoots it all the time. He's going to make plays for other people. His defensive rebounding was really impactful. Nikola is Nikola, and our team right now, and I mean it, they're picking each other up man by man. Different people played tonight. We threw Zeke out there. He had good energy. Again, the stats don't matter. Peyton Watson had great energy. And we just need whatever man we put on the court to give us that and give it for the guy next to you. And if you do that, you stay in games.
Kind of on that note, how would you describe the individuals from a human perspective that make up a team that just finds a way to win?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. I think the mentality between each game is to think of yourself in an unselfish way. How am I going to make the guy next to me better for the next game? And I think when you do that, then when you come together, it's this culture of just trying to find a way. And you have to have that. You have to cultivate that game by game because it's going to change. And they're going to make adjustments, and game 4 is going to be its own thing. And we're going to have new challenges, and there may be foul trouble, and different people are in and all that. The bottom line is these guys trust each other in that locker room, and whatever comes our way, we'll do our best to stay in the game.
Shea also had a tough shooting night, didn't get to the line a lot. What stood out to you about the defensive effort against him?
Yeah, he had a tough night. Also thought we did a good job of showing him different looks late in his dribble moves. I thought this was our best game of the 3 of taking the impact, of his forearm. He creates a lot of space that way. There was a couple times late in the game I thought CB took it the right way and got a good contest. And then more importantly, they have a lot of good players out there. I mean, Jay Williams is unbelievable tonight. When those guys get into their move and they get late into that early paint, sometimes you got to take a chance and break it off from your own guy and get a secondary contest. Because if you don't, it's just one-on-one all the time. Those guys are just too good that way. So I thought our optionality of what we did with them was good, and it wasn't just one thing or, hey, let's zone this time and do it like this. It's, no, think of the game, organically see the clock. If it's at 5 seconds and you feel like the guy behind will rotate for you, then go bring a second defender late and get a secondary contest. With that all being said, we all know what that guy is, and he'll be great in game 4, I know. He's an amazing player. But I just liked our overall effort, and I thought our physicality of taking those hits was much better than game 2.
David, obviously everyone's talking about MPJ's shot making in this one, but how important was some of the defensive rebounds he got? As you guys seem like you really emphasized the energy and effort on that end after maybe a poor first half where they got a lot of second chance opportunities.
Yeah, man. I mean, they're bringing bodies, and I'm going to keep saying this. I can't remember a team this good at offensive rebounding that is this good at getting back defensively. It's absolutely amazing, and it just speaks to the speed and athleticism of their team. And I think I talked about it the other day. Somebody asked about Mike's injuries, and that's been the thing that stood out to me the most was his two-hand rebound because he's had such a hard time getting the second arm above his head. And Mike's a great defensive rebounder over the years. So, having him in there, he snatched one with 1, but I thought he got it to 2 quicker than he has in the past games, knowing that bodies are coming. Yeah, that's a team effort. I mean, it really is. When they shoot the ball, it feels like the whole world is in the paint. And you just have to win those. And sometimes the ball gets tipped, and you got to play through the elbows and win the 50-50 knockout, defensive rebounds, because that leads to controlling the pace and getting our guys in two-man game late.
You've been with this group a long time, seen it climb to a championship, win a championship, deal of defending a championship, all that. Does playoff experience matter in times like this or not?
I think it does late in games. But I will say this. Who they are is what game 2 looked like, where you can have all the experience in the world. But if you don't come to play and you play a team that good, you're going to get blown out. And I thought we had a much more mature approach, professional approach. And I do believe late in the games, you can rely on what you've seen and felt and done. And even in losses, in the past, I think you can feel like a game that maybe you've played a couple of years ago. And having all those experiences together, it can carry you through. And even if we would have lost the game tonight, just the way we calmed down those last 3 minutes of regulation and what you saw early in overtime, putting your energy into the defensive end and calming down and executing on the offensive end always gives you a great opportunity to win a really tough game.
David, can I sneak one in here? I don't think we mentioned Jamal so far.
Yeah.
What changed for him tonight in terms of, was it screening better? Was he just doing a better job individually of creating space and knocking down shots?
Yeah, I said this the other day. I can sit up here and coach speak and say we just got to play harder and blah, blah, blah. We also got to get him open. We did a much better job of that. We got hits on people, tried to start him flatter on the court to make it easier for him to catch it. And that, by the way, Jamal Murray defensively in the fourth quarter and overtime, and it's tough to play 47 minutes and tell a guy in the first quarter that you can't believe he's not in a stance and cutting people off when he's got to have the ball, score 27 points, have 8 assists, run the two-man game late. But when they called his guy up, I thought he really sat down and guarded when it mattered. And that's what Jamal is, man. He's so mentally tough. He's another one of those cogs in that room that have been around and seen it. and they know when it's winning time and what they got to give of their body and their mind to find a way to win it. So proud of Jamal. I'm proud of all the guys in there. By the way, Aaron made a big shot.
Mike, when we talked to you after the loss in Oklahoma City, you were frustrated by the pain, how it was affecting your shot. And you were forced to rebound with one. Tonight, 5 for 6 from 3, 8 boards. What changed?
I mean, a couple of days in between is helping at this point. So it felt a little bit better overall today. We taped it up good. We did the injection before the game, which I was trying to like space out and not do the injection every game, but right now it's kind of needed. So I did that. It felt a little bit better, and then I was just able to knock down some shots. I still don't feel like I'm able to fully play physical or bump guys the way I would like to, but I'm able to do what I can. And tonight, some shots went down for me, and it felt good. Nah, not cortisone. Just a numbing thing. I think lidocaine, like a little numbing shot in there just to help make it feel better. I wanted to stay away from the steroids, but yeah, I'm doing the lidocaine shot.
Michael, you talk about the physical part. What about the mental part, about just getting your head straight with everything and turning that around tonight?
I mean, it's been tough to, it's the playoffs, and I'm wanting to perform at a high level. And I knew when I decided to try to play through this injury that they told me would be a 4 to 6 week injury before I could return. I mean, they told me that was the norm, 4 to 6 weeks till you return to play, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I knew trying to suit up, I knew there would be games where I wasn't able to produce I wanted to. There'd be games where maybe I didn't play as much as I wanted to, but it's the playoffs, and I wanted to go out there and at least try. And so, it's been an up and down playoffs for me, but that's okay because we're in a good position as a team. And, I've had some games where I've gotten some shots to go down in the Clippers series, and now tonight in this game when some guys were struggling from the field, especially in the first half. So it feels good to get out there, and I'm just going to keep trying to stay in a tough mental frame and continue to let this heal. And I think it's going to continue to heal at a faster rate since it's been about a week and a half now. So,
Mike, what does it mean that even though that you are dealing with this injury, this team and this coaching staff still has faith in getting you the basketball that you can still perform at a high level?
And it's it's a constant conversation back and forth, but I'm telling them I'm good. It's not an injury that you can really make. I mean, you can aggravate it and you can delay healing, but it's not an injury that you can make worse unless I was to do the same thing that hurt it. So even though playing on it makes it heal slower, they know that it's not something that's dangerous to play with per se. So they're trusting me to go out there and space the floor, make it easier on other guys if I can, and then I just got to try to contribute on the glass and defensively as best as I can and be ready to knock down open shots.
Michael, as a team, was there a sense like, let's just get this game to the last 5 minutes. Let's just get to the game to the point where we know what we're going to do, and we kind of have the advantage with Jamal and Nikola?
I mean, we had times where we felt like we could have separated a little bit tonight, but it was so close. We would go up 1, and then Shea would come down and hit a 3. We would go up 2, and then Jalen would come down and do something amazing. So it was so close the entire game that we just knew we had to hang in there. It was a game really of huge runs. It stayed pretty close. It felt like the entire game. And then, once again, AG, he must have got the Angels with him or something. But I'm so proud of him. I'm happy for him. AG, once again, with the clutch 3 to put it into overtime. I think that's 3 games now in this playoffs that we don't win without his clutch play. So once we got it to overtime, then we knew it was a clean slate. We felt like we had the momentum and the advantage. But, man, they're such a tough team, 1 through 10 or however many guys they decide to play, they all play the same way, and they're a really hard team to beat. So yeah, it was tough. It was a tough game.
Mike, I was going to ask you about Aaron and just his ability to be clutch in these situations. Just where do you think that comes from? And as a player, just how do you go about becoming clutch and becoming mentally tough in these situations?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got a lot of guys who are very poised players, top to bottom, man, all throughout the whole season. AG's had his huge moments in the playoffs. CB's had big moments in the regular season. Obviously, Nikola and Jamal are very clutch players as well, and then I feel very comfortable taking shots down the stretch too. I think we just got a mentally pretty strong team, top to bottom, and we got the best closers in the game. I feel like between Jamal and Nikola, and now through these playoffs, AG has been amazing as well. So it's fun when you have those close games down the line. You have so many guys that can step up and make big shots.
You guys limited them to 2 overtime points. What was the goal defensively in that overtime outside of just getting stops and winning?
Yeah, getting stops, but I mean, really trying to show Shea and Jalen a crowd. Those are 2 really, really good players. Chet as well started to get the first half off very well, and we were able to slow him down in the second half, which was big for us. But Jalen and Shea put so much pressure on the rim, it's hard to guard them one-on-one. They both got, strong frames. They're able to bump you and get to their mid-range, and then they're also able to get to the rim. So trying to show those guys a crowd is what we did. But they're such a tough team because they got guys that can make you pay, from 1 through 10. They got guys that if you overhelp, they'll make you pay. So it's definitely a multiple effort type of thing that we got to do against them. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Jamal, David Adelman praised your defense in the fourth quarter overtime. Sometimes we just ask you about made shots, missed shots. Where does your defense kind of rank for you in terms of what you're most proud of individually as a team getting this win tonight?
No, it takes everybody. I think we did a good job for the most part, just being on the string when one guy goes to help or one guy in the zone. It takes a lot of communication, so I think we did a good job of just communicating to each other throughout the game. Even when we didn't, we made up for it and we stuck with it, or we handled the mistakes well. So I think together it was a good defensive showing for the most part.
Jamal, another big shot from Aaron in this game. Just a lot of clutch moments for you guys, for him as a team. What does it take to be clutch? How do you develop that as a team? Is there anything that players they try to go through over and over again in these moments?
I'm talking about AG.
AG and you.
We could just talk about AG. I told him he's like 7 for 7 under 3 seconds with 3 seconds in the game. So I think he's just being ready for the moment. You put a lot of work in all your life to shine in certain moments, and you don't know when that moment will come, right? So I think he's just always ready, and obviously puts the work in to get there. So I think it's a testament his whole life of manifesting it, being ready for it, thinking about it, dreaming about it, and when it's time to go do it, you've kind of done everything to prepare for those kind of moments. So AG's always ready for the moment.
Jamal, against tough defenses like this one in the playoffs before, sometimes it seems that tough shots are necessary, and you balance really well tonight in terms of taking tough shots and making tough shots and setting up others. What's kind of your mentality for defense and knowing sometimes I've got to create and make a tough shot? Like, what's the mentality in terms
Just
of
being aggressive. Just being aggressive anything that we do. The way they're calling the games and how much they let them get away with. You just got to be aggressive back on offense and force them to make a decision, the defense and the refs. I think the refs did a good job of just kind of not making it one-sided. They, kind of gave both teams the benefit of the doubt, and you just got to be aggressive, though. You can't give in to it, and it's going to take making tough shots. It's also going to take hitting open man. So it's a balance.
Jamal, this group obviously has a lot of this group has a lot of playoff experience and games and moments like this. Over the years, what has been the biggest lesson you guys have learned about how to win games like these?
That's going to be a long question, or a long answer, sorry. I think it comes to everybody sticking together and believing and holding each other accountable and accepting criticism, and going out there and just going with the positive attitude. I tell P-Watt and Zeke, they come in the game, they go out the game, they come in, it's like, bro, it doesn't matter, just stay ready. and those guys stay ready and ready to contribute in a big way. So that goes for everybody, but just that kind of mindset and everybody kind of being together, I think that can carry the way for things to come. So.
Jamal, after Game 3 against the Clippers, you said you guys needed to dictate with the physicality more and not react. Was it? And then in Game 4, you came out and responded. In this series, is it kind of similar here with Games 2 and 3?
I agree. Yeah, I think so. I think tonight just made up for last game, and we got to go and win Game 4 now. Do it all over again. So it's a lot of work to be done. It was a good win, but there's a quick turnaround, and we have more work to do.
Jamal, that shot you made late in the third quarter with your back to the basket, you flip it over your head. How many times do you think you've made that, and how much do you practice that shot?
I've been doing stuff like that my whole life. I also airballed one late in the game too. So it's just how it goes sometimes. Just being aggressive and trying to make a play. But those are, layups and stuff I've been doing my whole life.
Jamal, post-game, a couple Thunder guys, Lou, Alex said, it felt like you were a little bit more aggressive, just in terms of physicality. Obviously, that's been a physical matchup through this whole series. Do you feel like you were trying to be a little bit more physical, tonight, to be a little bit
It's
more
not
aggressive?
really, yeah, physicality is a word, but it's more just being the aggressor, just being aggressive. If someone pushes you, just push back and get to your spot and don't even think about it. I think, just you can't always put it on the reps to call something like this. The game's going to go a certain way, and you got to just react and just play and be aggressive back. And if they call it, then they call it. I'm just going in with tonight I went in with a better mindset of just playing and not trying to worry about what's going on, because stuff is going to go on. You just got to keep level-headed and keep focused on what your job to do out there is, and just do it. So I think if we all just become the aggressors and play through some of the stuff that I know is hard, but play through some of the stuff that we've been playing through. I think we just keep that mentality and move on.
Jamal DA said the screening for you specifically was much better tonight than it. Where do you see that the most? Like, what part of your game does better screening free
Me?
up? Yeah.
Screening or me getting?
Your screeners set for you.
Yeah, I think it causes a chain reaction, when you set one screen and it forces the defender to communicate to the other defender what's going on, and you can use those advantages or whatever to set up other stuff. I think it's a huge part of the game, especially in a physical game like this. You got to screen, you got to set screens, and force the defense to do something, I don't know if I answered your question, but all right, cool. We'll just move on.
Jamal, we talked to MPJ after the last game. He was frustrated. He was in a lot of pain. He felt like it was limited because of the shoulder. What does it say about him to come out and have this kind of game and have this when you guys you needed it, because especially given how important he is to setting up the perimeter and the three-point offense? Yeah,
100%. He's playing through. When he first got here, it was like, damn, he's going to play through that. It's kind of crazy, and then. As each game gets better, he gets almost accustomed to how it's supposed to feel, and he might get nicked and nacked in the game, but he's playing through it. And like I said, people don't understand what he plays through and how much he's played through, his whole career. So it's just a testament to his resilience and his love for the game, and his will to win as well. So.
We'll do film and then Coach Adelman at 2:00 again.